So this went viral last night. We know that Bitcoin has hit a new all-time high when Elon Musk posts his tweet. Hey guys, what's up? In this video, we're going to be talking about what it means for Bitcoin to hit a new all-time high and the top strategies for this next bull run / alt season. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so we can get this out to more people. There is a lot of good stuff in here, I promise. All right, so check it out. Bitcoin against the US dollar yesterday had a high of over $67,000 and it closed at around $62,000, which is fantastic. We have finally broken out over the previous resistance just by a little bit. So the next thing to look out for would be to actually fully close above previous all-time highs. Only thing that I'm not seeing yet for this run-up is the volume. If you look here, there's hardly anything going on. But back here, look at all of this volume, you know, easily in the double-digit thousands, whereas right here, it's still single-digit thousands. So I guess we'll see. It kind of looks like it's already starting to downturn, so I have a feeling this is not going to be a really quick and parabolic run-up like it was before. If anything, probably a slow and steady, healthy run-up. So one of the big pieces of news that happened this week is that we just got the SEC to approve a Bitcoin ETF futures ETF that started trading this week. There was a lot of hype around that, and I think that news, as well as the trading, did help propel the Bitcoin prices. ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF became the first Bitcoin futures-based ETF to launch in the US, and it started trading on the New York Stock Exchange this past Tuesday. Earlier in October, the SEC also approved a Bitcoin-linked ETF product by Volt Equity. Basically, they're letting investors have significant exposure to Bitcoin. The other piece of news that just came out is that pension fund for Texas firefighters allocated $25 million to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this is important because pension funds are a huge wave of money that have yet to fully come into the crypto space. And it's going to be massive because right now we're looking at a market cap of, you know, little over $2.5 trillion, which is big, but relative to everything else, this is nothing in the grand scheme of things. So it'll be really interesting to see the massive wall of pensions coming into the crypto space, which is going to really send these coins running. So what does this mean for us, right? Like, what are some strategies that we could be doing right now to prepare for either a bull run or another alt season? And this is kind of how the cycle of smart money goes. And basically, you want to be moving with smart money, if not slightly before smart money. If you look at Google Trends, you'll see that Ethereum and NFTs are kind of still very much behind Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is once again starting to shoot up in trending interest. And the last time that it peaked was around January, early January, then February, and then this was when everything crashed around late May. So this was kind of like the parabolic bull run. And then you had NFT season around here. Now we're kind of like in an NFT bear season, and Bitcoin is pumping again. Phase one was Bitcoin. A flow of money moves into Bitcoin, causing price surges. Sounds like what we're about to enter. And the phase overlap is money goes into Ethereum, but it struggles to keep up with Bitcoin. Ethereum goes back and forth with Bitcoin and starts outperforming it. Entering into phase two of Ethereum. And this is when Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, and then we hear a lot of people start talking about the flippening, especially ETH maxis. And then this is where we have the other phase overlap of money flowing into large caps, where we see large buy-ups happening, usually going into phase three. And this is where Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin and large caps are going parabolic. So you have all the other coins like Solana, ADA, Tezos, Luna, all of these are really going parabolic, and then it overlaps with the lower altcoins that have somewhat strong fundamentals also pumping. And this leads us into phase four, which is the alt season, and this is when the large caps have gone full vertical and you're seeing blow off tops, and then everything else is kind of pumping around the same time, and the large caps are now outperforming Bitcoin Ether because smart money has essentially rolled their profits from Bitcoin and Ethereum into the alts, and it seems like every coin is going parabolic regardless of fundamentals, and memes are everywhere, and you can kind of see the mania. And so we had this earlier this year when everything was about Doge and Shiba and SafeMoon, and it was just insane. There's another section that should be added here as well, and that's NFTs. Phases overlap and they can temporarily reverse before continuing, but we kind of always end up at this mania of alt season when all this new money has just come in from the headlines, and it's basically turned into a full-on degenerate casino. Likely there are multiple alt seasons per crypto bull cycle of varying degrees. So let's talk about some strategies to prepare yourself for this flow of smart money. One is you can bridge over to alternative chains, or you can bridge over to layer 2 or L2s, which is why I would be looking at AVAX, Phantom, BSC, Polygon, XDAI, Harmony, Arbitrum, Optimism. The advantage of L2s is that they are secured by the Ethereum network, so you basically have the speed and cheap transactions of, say, like a Polygon or another alternative chain, but you have the security of Ethereum. But the cons of bridging your funds over to L2s is that there's really not a lot to do there right now because everything has just been rolled out within like the last month or so, and so there's a lot of battle testing to be done. For example, if you wanted to bridge over to Arbitrum, this is kind of the ecosystem. You can go to Alchemy, Anchor, AnySwap. There's not going to be a lot of tokens though when you swap. So this is Optimism and lower cost, lightning speed. So right now you can use Uniswap, Synthetics, Lyra, 1inch. So another reason that you may want to just deploy some of your funds over to both Arbitrum and Optimism is that neither of them have tokens right now, and there's good reason to believe that they will airdrop tokens to users. Uniswap was a great example of a protocol that airdropped tokens retroactively to its early users. And plus, it makes sense for these L2s to provide a token as a form of like exit liquidity for their investors, as well as for some form of governance. All right, so let's look at the other chains on DeFi Llama. You can see that there are plenty of other alternatives to Ethereum, and a couple of them actually launched liquidity mining incentives, basically paying you to bridge over your assets to their chain and use their DeFi protocols. Avalanche had one, Polygon had one, Phantom also has one as well. They have one of the biggest liquidity mining programs right now, as far as I know. The Phantom Foundation announced in August that it would basically distribute a $346 million incentive program. Avalanche had one as well in August. They announced a $180 million DeFi incentive protocol. This would be a good strategy to kind of look at the DeFi protocols and try farming on other platforms. And these are some of the yield earning protocols that you can farm on. Generally speaking, if you do yield farming as your main strategy, you're gonna underperform the apes and the degens, but you're most likely gonna outperform the market in general. So it's really about your risk tolerance. The other strategy for this upcoming bull run or alt season would be to pick up NFTs for cheap. This could be a great opportunity for you to pick up some blue chips. And blue chips are kind of like the Bored Apes, the CryptoPunks, the Art Blocks, the Cool Cats, the ones that are going to make it through a true bear season. And if you look at the total number of sales in the trends, just over the last month or so, they have declined. Go to OpenSea, their top NFT stats. All of these floor prices have fallen. And because the NFT market is so illiquid, you want to make sure that you pick up blue chips. And if you really want liquidity, then you probably want to pick up floor ones. And this applies to not only Ethereum NFTs, but also Solana NFTs. There's another one called Immutable X. This is a layer 2 for NFTs on Ethereum, and you do have to bridge over. It doesn't take that long to bridge over, but I believe there is like a 7-day waiting period to bridge your funds back to the mainnet Ethereum. There's not as many options on Immutable X yet because it's relatively new, but there are some good ones, and if you get in early, you could potentially pick up an OG that becomes its own blue chip on Immutable X. I've heard a lot of good things about the Moody Crows and Land Loot and Gods Unchained. Another thing you could do with your NFTs, instead of just letting them sit in your wallet doing nothing, is you can stake them. So not all NFTs are going to allow you to do this. If you go to nftx.io, you can look at all of the different pools that allow you to stake NFT collections. So there's a pool for punks, toads, kitties. I personally have been looking into staking my winter bear because I don't want to liquidate it yet, and I don't want it to just sit there either. So you can stake your winter bears to earn ETH, you can sell them without a buyer, you can buy them without a seller, you can swap them for another, you can even fractionalize them and own pieces of it. But just note that it does cost gas on Ethereum. Also, because one bear equals one bear token, the vault's really only suitable for floor bears. And this is definitely an option if you have NFTs sitting in your wallet that you either don't want to or you can't sell, and you want to be able to kind of utilize them in some way. Last but not least, you can try and front run the smart money. You kind of have this general idea of where the money is headed next, and so you can anticipate it and try to front run them, either by using like a custom RPC in your MetaMask, or you can try and use something like Eden, which basically you buy their token, you stake it, you add their RPC network on your MetaMask, and it protects you from being front run by bots, and it aligns incentives with block producers and redistributes the miner extractable value, or MEV. And there's a ton of information here that I'm not really going to get into, but I'll have all the links below in the description, so if you're interested, you can definitely check this out. So in front running, you kind of snag the alts before the smart money does, and you sell it back to them, and there's a lot of arbitrage opportunities as well. It's basically to just pick up the alts before they pump. And yes, this is probably harder than it looks, but some solids are going to be in the top 100, and if you just go through them on CoinGecko, you're bound to find some easy 2 to 5 X's, especially if you look at the ecosystem of coins pumping. So for example, if you see Solana starting to pump, then you can go to Solana ecosystem and buy up, like Ray or Serum, those ecosystem tokens, because those are the tokens that usually pump right after the main native token pumps. So it's going to take a little bit of legwork, it's going to take some research, but I believe in you. That is a quick update, and those are my strategies for how to take advantage of the next bull run or alt season, whichever overlap we are going in. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what some of your strategies are. Drop me a comment below, and I will see you in the next one.